This morning, a father and son reunited because of this programme.
John was told his dad had died. He even went to his funeral. Then he saw him on Missing Live.
Today, a year on, they're back together. Hello, good morning. This is Missing Live. Today we're telling you the stories behind some of the people missing in the UK.
There are hundreds of thousands of families searching for those who have simply disappeared. Just one call from you could help reunite them. The police and the charity Missing People are with us live all morning and they're waiting to hear from you.
Morning, Terry. You're with us here again this morning. Just update us. We've had a few interesting leads on Richard Clark. Now, somebody went into a police station, didn't they, claiming to be him?
That's right. Somebody went in and said they think they were being reported missing and had a driving licence, but without a photo, so they weren't able to confirm it was him. But we have had 4 unconfirmed sightings of him, which is interesting. A couple in the south of England, but potentially one in Yorkshire as well, so looking into that. The important information we want to get out to him, if he's watching himself, is there is actually some money available to him from the repossession of his house, so there is that.
So if he wants that, it's there waiting for him.
Right.
Also, Joyce Wells, now she's the granny who went missing from Bexhill. She's 74, very lively. We've had a couple of calls on that, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Not as many as we'd like, but a couple of interesting ones, a recent one, and also 2 placing her, one in Southampton, one in Brighton, potentially living rough. So that would match with the fact that her money hasn't been used, no finances have been accessed, so it is quite feasible.
That is interesting as well, because these were what areas that she knows.
That's right. I mean, in the south, it was a Swan shopping centre, for example, in Southampton, so quite specific, and it is quite interesting. We just want more calls, really.
OK, so people have seen her photo. More calls on that would be great, wouldn't they? Later, we will show you how your calls really can make a difference. If you can help, please call 0500 700 700, 0500 700 700. Calls are free from landlines, but mobile charges will vary.
You return your girlfriend's call, but there's no answer. There's been no answer from Elena in 10 months.
Hello, Charlie, it's me. Just ringing to say hello. Spent all day at work today.
This message on her boyfriend's phone are the last known words of Elena Shagrova. A few days later, on May the 21st, 2008, she disappeared.
Maybe I'll call you later. Lots of love. Bye.
She was an amazing person, bouncy, bubbly, intelligent, amusing. I really liked her. Wonderful woman. A soulmate.
38-year-old Elena moved to England from Russia 17 years ago. She lives in a flat in Highgate, North London, which she shares with Jenny.
Fantastic housemate, very, very generous, very warm person to live with. She was kind of like the glue between all the other flatmates.
Over the years living here, Elena has become the centre of a big group of friends. Her closest and oldest friend is Platon. Like Elena, he too came over to London from St Petersburg in 1991.
She was definitely, and she is part of a community. She was one of the main things that united that community, because she was a very good communicator in the community, and she brings people together.
They are a close-knit group who feel more like family.
She would organize gatherings and parties, either with a theme or not, or birthday, or some of Russian holidays, or Christmases even. So she was like the sort of mother figure of this flat.
But behind the smiles, Elena often struggles.
She would have bouts of depression, and that would be really painful experience for her. when she would come out of it, she would be her jovial self. And when depression would take hold of her, she would suffer greatly.
4 years ago, Elena separated from her husband. It was a difficult time. But in September 2007, she started going out with Charles, and things began to look brighter.
It became very positive, yeah. She was having a great time. We went travelling together, went to Paris, we had a weekend in Maastricht, went to Tenerife together. Yeah, she was very positive.
Although Charles lives in Lille in northern France, he began coming over regularly to visit Elena.
I lived in London 15 years, but she showed me her London, which I didn't know at all, and she really introduced me to things I didn't know. Sitting on top of a top deck of a double-decker bus.
Early last year, Elena and some of her friends got involved in an exciting new project.
We got this allotment space that was completely overgrown, and actually came at a really good time because we used to go every weekend together, and we started to clear the allotment, and we all hoped that this would kind of be a healing process for her.
I got involved in this huge exhibition which was moving a shed, and all kinds of people turned up, Serbian people and Russians, and then we had this impromptu picnic. It was in February, but it's a really warm weekend, and it's really nice.
In the early spring of last year, it was 6 months into the relationship. Things seemed to be going well for Elena and Charles. But Elena was trying to finalise her divorce. It was really getting her down. On Tuesday the 20th of May, Charles is in London. He's due to fly out on a business trip, but he's worried about leaving Elena.
She was very distressed, lost, and I was going to Bulgaria that day, and I was ready to say I'm not going, but she insisted I went. So the next morning, I got a text from her, and it said, "Hello, darling, all well, look out for new things." So that evening I texted her, and there's no answer.
It turns out she's not been home that night.
We had noticed that she wasn't back that evening, and it got later and later, she still wasn't back. I thought, okay, well, we'll just sort of check on her in the morning. So we did, and she wasn't there. She didn't come home. And as she was down, we thought the best thing to do was to call the police.
Coming up, police find CCTV of Elena leaving a North London tube station on the day she disappeared. And could this sighting lead them closer to her?
That is definitely her. Is it her? Elena's boyfriend Charles is with us later. He'll be telling us more about where that sighting leads. But if you think you know anything about where she could be, please call Missing People on 0500 700 700.
Yesterday, we told you about this man, 28-year-old Barry John George. He's been missing from his home in Llangefni for more than 2 months. Sergeant Kenny Morris, who's been leading the case, is on the phone now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So this is 2 months now that he's been gone. What new leads have you got?
We've had a member of the public who's reported that at 18:45 on Wednesday, 18th of March, that had been last Wednesday, two buses were leaving Llangefni, the number 42 bus, which had been heading towards Newborough, and the number 4 bus heading towards Holyhead. That person fitting Barry's description, wearing a blue baseball cap, was on that bus.
Well, that sounds encouraging, definitely. Now, very quickly, is there any message you could give to Barry if he's watching this?
Barry should be taking a certain medication, and he may be feeling anxious about returning home.
Okay.
However, I wish to stress to Barry, or anyone who knows of his whereabouts, that our only aim and priority is his safe return home to his family.
That's brilliant. OK then, Kenny, that's excellent and such a good message to give out to him. If you were on that bus in Llangefni, again, it was 6:45 on Wednesday evening. Police would like to hear from you. You can call Missing People on 0500 700 700 and they'll pass your information on.
Now, she didn't turn up for Christmas, and on her birthday, she didn't contact her family. 25-year-old Samantha Wright has been missing since January this year. Samantha is 5'6". She's of medium build with long brown wavy hair, dark brown eyes and a pale complexion. Now, she's originally from Stevenage in Hertfordshire, but she's been living in Edinburgh for the past 3.5 years. If you know anything about where she could be, please call Missing People. Their number, once again, 0500 700 700.
Your parents separate and you see less and less of your dad. Then the devastating news comes that he might be gone for good.
This is John Delaney at the age of 17, just before he moved over to England from Ireland.
My mum's from Tipperary, my father's from Portlaoise, and apparently they both met each other on the boats.
The couple settled in Manchester and had 3 children. Their only son was named John after his dad.
I do remember my father being there, but once that memory started to click in, that's the time when he actually left the home.
John was just 5 when his father left home. Away from the family, his dad struggled to get by and ended up living on the streets.
I've always followed where he may be, and when I got older, me and my younger sister went looking for him. There was occasions we found him, but we were so young and had our own little lives to get on with. But we always hoped he was okay.
Over the years, the family stayed in contact.
My father used to actually call at his brother's house, you know, for company and, you know, a bit of support.
Then, almost a decade ago, the visits stopped. It seemed John's dad had just disappeared from their lives.
In the year 2000, his brother decided to put him on the missing list. That's when we all started to worry about him, more so.
3 years later, in 2003, John's family get the worst possible news.
The police officials called at my family's door and told me my father was, you know, this is a possibility. These remains that are found outside this hospital, there's a possibility this could be your father.
Being told his father had died made John realise how important he was to him.
In a way, it made me like a stronger person, you know, realising, you know, how my father lived, and he didn't really have a lot of luxuries. I was quite proud of him.
After years of searching, John had to come to terms with the fact that he'd never see his dad again. But the extraordinary story doesn't end there.
Yes, last year on Missing Live, we showed you the case of a man who'd lost his memory. He had no idea who he was or if he had any family. He didn't even know his own name. Somebody watching thought they might. May 2000, Oldham Town Centre in Lancashire. A man is suffering from hypothermia and falls unconscious. He's seriously ill and he's rushed into hospital. When the man wakes up, doctors discover he has a brain injury. He has no memory and he doesn't even know his own name. Eight years later, and he still doesn't know who he is. The people caring for him now want to find out the identity of the mystery man.
I truly believe, you know, he's somebody's father, somebody's grandfather, somebody's uncle.
His brain injury has also severely impaired his speech, so his carers listen out for any clues to his identity.
Was he good? Was he a good boxer?
Yeah.
And were you a boxer? Did you box? I think you did.
He'll say the word boxing. What stemmed from that over a period of time, that he's used the word army. Is that in relation to, has he been in the army, or is he just connecting that with recent TV programmes that he's currently watching?
he's Tipperary now.
They've gone to Tipperary, or were they from Tipperary?
Yeah.
Yeah?
When it said, for instance, Tipperary, we would actually say, are you from Tipperary? Sometimes we would get more information from that key word.
As part of a nationwide campaign to find out who this man is, Missing Live made an appeal to the public.
Your help is needed to solve a real-life mystery now, the case of a man with a missing memory. He has no idea who he is. Perhaps you do.
One viewer couldn't believe what he saw.
Seeing this face pop up, I thought to myself, that's my father.
But it didn't make sense.
I sat down 5 minutes later, I thought, oh, hold on a minute. I cremated my father 5 years ago. That can't be.
John immediately called missing people, and the forensic process to find out whether it really was his dad began.
This was an incredible story. Terry, you're actually looking after this case yourself for missing people, weren't you?
That's right, it was one of my cases. It had been registered with us the summer before, and obviously we'd done quite a lot of work trying to match with missing persons reports and so on, but we tried to get more publicity, and obviously this programme was great for that.
So what happened when you got that call?
It was unbelievable. I mean, what was great was that John was so convinced that it was his father, but of course when he said that they'd already cremated this father, you obviously start to disbelieve it. I was just dumbfounded. So what we wanted to do, get more information. I was really sceptical and asked John to send more information. He sent in a photo which really helped because there was an uncanny resemblance.
Really?
Yeah.
Even from that? And then what would the next step be from there?
Well, after that, we obviously put the information towards the police. The police spoke to John and they went through some family history, looked up birth certificates, tried to get that sort of thing. But what they wanted to do is, after that, do DNA tests to sort of see if they could confirm it.
But just getting that phone call yourself, you must have thought in the back of your mind, hey, this could be a hoax, this can't be true.
Definitely. I mean, we'd had a lot of calls already, of course, from other people saying different members of different families, different ideas. So all the information we had to plough through. But obviously when John was so convinced it was his father, you really want to look at a case like that. So,
yeah,
you know,
I tell you, it must have made your job worthwhile just getting something as exciting as this.
Definitely. I mean, this is what we do, and we know that it works. The appeals work, the publicity works, and this is why we do it.
And the DNA work's something that's quite important in cases like this, isn't it? In other cases like this.
That's right. I mean, using DNA can confirm, obviously, whether somebody is related or not. And in this case, obviously, it was so important. After such a long time, it had been, 8-10 years since they'd had contact, that changing the resemblance, that sort of thing. So what they do is they get a swab from both people and put it through the process. The forensic service obviously do that, and then get the answer that we're...
Brilliant. Well, we'll find out what that answer was. That's brilliant, Terry. Thank you very much. And there's more to come later when we do find out the results of that DNA test.
Now, some great news. We were going to tell you of the story of 50-year-old Nigel Davis, but he's been missing from his home in Shrewsbury in Shropshire, and we've heard this morning he has been found safe and well. On the phone is his twin brother, Mark. Mark, amazing news. We were going to do an appeal for Nigel today. What happened, though?
This morning, me and Jane got down, because we know we're going to have an interview with you this morning. We wrote some little notes to say, right, this is what we're going to say to appeal to the public. The dog starts going sort of ballistic at the door. We open the door, he's standing in front of me. And I'm thinking, who's this? Totally changed. He's lost a lot of weight. Got a beard now as well, so a bit of a shock.
How amazing for you. And he'd been missing for, what, 4 weeks? Where do you think he'd got...
4 weeks this Monday, yeah.
Where did you think he'd gone to?
We didn't know. The police were actually sort of thinking that maybe it's the worst, but we sort of still had our hopes up. Where he's gone, we don't know. He's done a better job than Ray Mears, as far as I'm concerned, because he had nothing with him. All he had was £230 on him. That was it.
Absolutely amazing. How's he doing? He's been there a few hours, hasn't he?
I've dropped him in the shower, given him some of my clothes. He's got a pair of me trainers on, which are a bit big for him, but he's quite happy. He's just sitting, and my lad's just come home. We just made him a bit of breakfast as well. Absolutely fantastic to see him.
It's amazing to hear that news this morning, because we talk about people gone missing all the time here. So really, they do come back.
They do. They is fantastic. Absolutely great. I mean, great to see him. My brother's having a half a day today. We're coming up here. He's going to give me a hand, and we're going to sort him out, get his flat sorted, get him back on his feet with a bit of luck.
Absolutely brilliant. Tell me, is there anything you'd like to say to people? Because I know there's lots of searches being going on as well.
Amazing. I mean, Facebook was superb. That spread everywhere. I mean, over 2,200 people almost searching for him. His friends always there. Never give up on him. His cat's been looked after, of course, as well, so that's one good thing. We're going to sort his flat out, like I said. The police, fantastic, always been in touch, kept up in touch with us and told us what was going on. Friends, he's got his boss, I think he's got his job still going for him, Louise, she's been great. The searches, everything, thank you everybody, it's fantastic.
Mark, that is great news this morning. Thank you very much for coming to tell us about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic news. Now, 53-year-old Stephen Thorpe has been missing since December last year. Stephen's 6 foot tall, of medium build, with blue eyes and shaved balding hair. He's from Southwark in South London, and Stephen could be unwell. People are really worried about him. If he's watching, please call missing people. The number's on your screen now.
Now, imagine you've met the love of your life, your soulmate, you've spent the weekend in London together, and then you get a message from her saying, "Hello, darling, all well, look out for new things." But that was 10 months ago, and Charles hasn't heard from Elena since. She didn't go home that night, and she's reported missing.
The Met Police immediately open a high-risk missing person investigation.
Calling from the Missing Persons Unit at Hornsey Police Station.
And Elena's friends start their own searches.
I flew straight back to London. I was supposed to go back to Brussels, but I took a flight to London and we all started looking.
All the way through the next few days, we spent looking for her, putting posters up all around Highgate area. Highgate Woods is somewhere where she would go walking a lot.
Someone somewhere must have seen Elena. She always uses the underground. Police track Elena's travel card. They discover it's been used. It registers at Highgate Tube Station. It's 2 p.m. on the day she went missing. Next, they find the CCTV from that time. Elena is filmed leaving the station. Where does she go next?
The areas of our investigation have been mainly around where she lives. Highgate, Highgate Wood, Queenswood, but that has been thoroughly checked on a number of occasions with police dogs, physical searches by police officers, including myself and colleagues, and we've not managed to trace her.
Nothing is found. It seems Elena has disappeared without a trace. Over the following weeks, there are a number of unconfirmed sightings.
There are no signs that something bad, terribly bad, might have happened to her. Her body hasn't come up or anything like that, so we presume she is alive and hopefully well, and she could simply be trying to deal with her depression on her own.
Even if Elena has chosen to disappear, because of her state of mind, the investigation continues. It's December 2008, 6 months since she was last seen. Police are still searching around North London.
We're going to be revisiting the area of Highgate, redoing some of our inquiries, putting up some new posters with a more up-to-date photo. We're hoping maybe to jog people's memories, see if there have been any other sightings that we haven't been informed of.
Here, any other shops in the area back in May and June time this year regarding the person who went missing here, like the name of Elena or Elena before.
Okay, on the windows, no problem.
Would you mind, because it's a different photo, might jog people's memories.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Back in May, a lady by the name of Elena or Eliana Zagorova went missing.
Okay.
This is an area local to where she lived.
At Elena's local deli, will they remember her?
That is definitely her.
but she had longer hair, I'm sure. The last time I saw her, she was sitting outside Cafe Rouge, and I went in next door, and I said to the fella, that is her, that is her.
Could this be a breakthrough? Unfortunately, this sighting turns out to be another woman who just resembles Elena. Elena's flatmate Jenny still looks after the allotment that they share.
It was all Eleanor's idea to get an allotment space, and she loved it. I think she really liked being here. She was very good at little jobs, like when the run of beans or peas needed to be tied to string or poles, and she would kind of get right in there and tie it, kind of untangle them really carefully.
Elena's friends just hope that one day she'll come home.
We haven't forgotten her. She's just such a warm person and part of everyone's life, and we all care about her, no matter what. She's a member of all our families.
Her boyfriend has kept the last phone message Elena left for him.
Hello, darling, it's me. Just ringing to say hello.
I miss everything. I miss her smile, her ability to... she made me feel complete. We say in French, l'âme sœur, soulmate. I miss her so much.
Maybe I'll call you later. Lots of love. Bye.
Well, that was the last message that Elena left for her boyfriend Charles, who's with us now. Thank you.
Hi.
And you've still kept those messages. You're still waiting
still got
for
those
her.
messages, yeah.
You're still waiting for her, are you?
I'm still waiting. Yes, I'm here all the time.
What's really striking about her is that she seems to have had an incredibly close-knit group of friends. Just tell us what she's like.
Yeah, she had this huge group of Russian friends, but then she made friends all over, all different types of people. She had this kind of gift of making people feel good about themselves, and she had a huge, many friends.
How are they all coping with the fact that she's not around at the moment?
It's been hard. They all feel a sense of loss, and she was a kind of linking piece, keeping people together.
And we know that you were really worried about her, weren't you, actually, in the kind of the day, then the days coming up to her going missing. What was going on?
She'd returned to work, and the hospital, that was their aim, was to get her back to work. But going back to work, the depression just came very, very quickly, and I felt powerless to do anything. It just went down so quickly.
How did it affect her depression? It just made...
She was very scared, afraid. We went to the hospital for an appointment the day before she went away, and they just wanted to close the case, and she was desperate for some help. All her friends, her flatmates were really, really good people. All her friends were there, but we were amateurs, and she needed professional help, and it wasn't really there for her.
The last pictures of her are from Highgate, aren't they? So where do you think that she may have gone after that? Where might she have gone, do you think?
I've no idea. We did a search, we checked the woods, we walked Hampstead Heath, and there's huge amounts of wildlife around that part of London.
You explained to us how she was feeling. If she were to be watching you now, you've said you're still waiting for her. What else would you say to her?
I just want to know that she's safe, and all of us want to know that she's safe.
And we know that she was working on that allotment, that she has flatmates. They're all waiting for her to come back.
They're all waiting for her, yes, yeah. Her friends, her community, people praying for her all the time.
OK, well, thank you very much for coming to tell us all about her. If you have any information about where she could be, where Elena could be, please call Missing People. Their number is on your screen now. And don't forget as well, if you're experiencing depression, you can also get help and advice from the BBC's Headroom site. That address is bbc.co.uk/Headroom.
As we saw in the film, PC Donna Griffin is leading the search for Elena. Where are you focusing this search? Where do you start with something like this?
Well, basically, what we're doing now, this far down, is just re-going over absolutely everything we've done in case there is any new news, redoing CCTV, inquiries from members of the public. We've had a lot of good response from the people in shops and stuff in Highgate. They've been really good.
I think we can see the CCTV that you've got. Is this all we know about her last movements?
Yeah.
We can see her here at Highgate
That is
Station.
the last. There is no other CCTV in Highgate that tells us where she's gone from there. So this is the last sighting we've got.
What do we know about where she likes in the UK? I mean, has she lived anywhere else other than London, or is that where you're really sort of focusing your
She's
inquiries?
mainly based around Highgate and Hampstead areas. She does love open areas, she loves parks, but she has previously lived in Shoreditch and she's got connections in Cambridge. She used to live there too.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I'm just hearing, actually, we're getting a couple of calls in already, one of which may even be an international link, so that could be of interest to you.
Yeah, she has actually got a holiday home in Tenerife, so I don't know if that leads into what
Fantastic.
you've
Well,
got.
it could be. Well, obviously, we'll let you know more as and when we do ourselves. Thank you for joining us. If you can help with this or any other case, then please get in touch with Missing People. Their number, once again, is 0500 700 700.
Earlier on, we were talking about John, who thought he'd seen his dad on Missing Live. He had to wait 3 months to find out if it really was him. John thought he'd cremated his father 6 years ago. That was until last year, when he watched an appeal on Missing Live for a man missing his memory.
Seeing this face pop up, I thought to myself, that's my father.
When DNA confirmed the man is John's dad, the story hit the headlines.
Now, a man has been reunited with his father after spotting him on television 5 years after he was supposed to have died and been cremated.
6 months on, and father and son are now reunited.
I was a bit sort of scared that he might not be as accepting towards me as I was looking forward to seeing him. But every time I get to see him now, when I walk in, big smile on his face.
They now see each other at least once a week.
Hello, Dad. How are you doing? You okay? Give us a hug. How's things?
John brought some family photographs and instantly Johnny actually recognised some of his family members. So that was quite emotional actually, not only for John the son but for the staff team.
That was a lovely house you stayed in your younger days. And who's that, Dad? My grandmother, yeah. As soon as my father sees his sisters and brothers, there's quite a connection going on. Everybody is just can't believe, you know, what's happened.
I do believe that Johnny is recognising his son. It's been a really, really positive outcome and I think the reuniting has been absolutely immense.
Good man. Aye. You're as strong as you come. Aye. Gives a hug. You know, he's a wiry old character. Small in stature, but in hearts, he's up there. Mount Everest.
What an incredible story. John is here now, along with his daughter, Millie. What an amazing story. Thanks for coming to tell us all about it.
No problem.
I just got so many questions to ask you. So you just happened to see the programme that day. What happened?
Well, I just finished a night shift. Normally I don't work nights, so it's quite remarkable. Just making a cup of tea, and I caught the last few seconds of the programme. On seeing the picture, I realised straight away, you know, even though I thought I cremated my father 5 years ago, I knew straight away that was my dad.
It must have been quite a shock.
Initially, yeah. But during the cremation, you know, we cremated decomposed bones.
So you weren't convinced?
Weren't convinced completely.
So you saw him on TV and you think, right, that's my dad. What did you do then? Presumably you called Missing People, didn't you?
Called Missing People straight away. The following day I rang the police and obviously you get a lot of hoax people bringing in.
Yeah.
But I was just so convinced that was my dad. I just tried to make them believe me.
And you also did a DNA test, but how long was the wait and what was it like waiting to see whether you could prove it as well?
It took 6 months to actually take the DNA test. And I think it was a month later the police came to the house and confirmed the findings were correct.
Were you nervous then the first day you saw him? What were you thinking about that?
I was nervous, yeah, but he always knew it was my dad.
Right.
So that 6 month, that time limit to confirm, the nerves started to calm because I knew all along what they were going to tell me.
Did he recognise you?
Not straight away. I think there was something going on, maybe on the second, third visit, on leaving. You know, he kept on saying, OK, see you, son, see you next time.
Brilliant. Millie, what is your granddad like? You've now met him. What's he like?
He's always cheerful and happy, and he's always mentioning Tipperary and things like that.
It must be brilliant to have him back as well. What did you think when Dad told you that he was back?
A little bit shocked, but glad that I had two granddads and that I'll get to meet him because I never met him before.
Brilliant. How is he now? How's he doing? Because we know obviously that he was unwell. He'd had a brain injury. How is he now?
He's good. He's improving all the time. His speech is improving. Every time I go, there's always a new word being spoken. So he's got like a good team behind him at Mimosa House in Cheriton. And they're doing a great job. Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Millie. Thank you, John, for coming to talk to us about that. It's really great to hear a story about a reunion, so thank you. If you think you can help missing people with information that could bring a family back like these together, please let them know. Their number is on your screen for you right now.
Now, Terry, that's a great story, but it does leave you with an unidentified body, doesn't it?
It does. Unfortunately, of course, the person that they cremated, we still don't know who that is, but it is an ongoing police investigation that they're looking into.
So it's something that's in hand and they're looking into it, which is brilliant. OK, what have we got coming in?
Well, we've had more calls from previous cases during this week. For example, May Ferns, she's the lady missing from Edinburgh with the walking stick. Had a large number of calls from her and around about 19 sightings so far, all over the country, Derbyshire, Chesterfield, that sort of thing.
All positive?
We're on to Parvinder as well, next the 14-year-old
Parvinder
looking
Singh.
for his parents from London. Not as many calls as we'd like, but 9 potential sightings on that, again from over the country, Surrey, Manchester, London. So more information would be great on that.
Excellent. Anyone else?
And Owen Walker, he was featured on Wednesday. In fact, we had the most calls about him on Wednesday. Very optimistic about that. 12 potential sightings from East Hackney, South East London. Some of them are very recent, so really
Brilliant. And
good
this is the
information.
guy who's got the distinctive limp, so if he is in the street, you know, it may turn someone's head.
Hopefully someone will recognise him and be able to give us some more information.
Excellent, Terry. That's really, really good. Thanks for your help. We know your calls can make a massive difference. So if you have any information that could help bring someone home, please get in touch with Missing People on 0500 700 700.
Now, imagine this. You get a call to say your brother hasn't turned up for work. 15 years later, Stuart Cook's family are waiting for that one call that could help bring him home.
Stuart Cook was 39 when he went missing. He grew up in Arbroath on Scotland's east coast. He always loved the sea. In the 1970s, Stuart started his working life as a fisherman on the trawlers.
Just started going out in the fishing boats here, I believe, and progressed to bigger boats, you know, which was, I think, Aberdeen, and then it went on to trawlers, longer spells away. He just seemed to like to do it. It just was his thing.
In the early 90s, he moved to the North Sea oil rig support vessels, and every month Stuart sailed from the port of Montrose. On the 2nd of September 1994, his ship sailed without him. For the last 15 years, Stuart's family have been trying to find out what's happened to him. That weekend in 1994, they thought Stuart had boarded the ship as normal. And his sister Jackie went round to his house to keep an eye on things, as she always did when he was away.
My dad and I had gone down, you know, I don't know, a day or two after he'd gone away, just to make sure there was mail and check the house and make sure he'd turned things off, and we thought everything's normal. There was a message on his answering machine asking him to contact the office. So my dad had listened to it and said, well, we better phone the office, and brought the machine up the road and proceeded to phone the office. And the guy said that he hadn't made the boat.
So it seems Stuart had not sailed for Montrose that morning. The harbour master at the port has found a record of that day.
We can see from the port control log that the crew change that they were expecting should have taken place on the 2nd. She came in on the Thursday night and she didn't sail until the Friday afternoon. Now that indicates that the ship was delayed. And the reason for that will be that they were waiting, probably, for a replacement for Stuart because he hadn't turned up.
Around the time he went missing, Stuart's mother Maureen was very ill.
My mother had been getting progressively worse, and Stuart had been a bit concerned about how he would get home if he was in the middle of the North Sea, should there be a problem. But he couldn't afford to miss the trips away. You know, he couldn't afford to not keep working.
When she died, his family expected him at the funeral, but he didn't turn up. Over the last 15 years, there have been numerous appeals, but no confirmed sightings of Stuart since September the 2nd, 1994.
We would just like to know that he's fine. Not necessarily where he is, or we wouldn't want to know what he's been doing for 14 years. It's not our concern. Just to know that he's all right.
Stuart is now 53. It's been a long wait for news for Stuart's family. If you can help, please call them. 0500 700 700.
Yes, if you can help with any of the cases you've seen today, please do get in touch with us. Here's a reminder of just some of them. Barry John George, he's been missing for 2 months now. We heard earlier that he may have been on a bus in Llangefni in North Wales just 2 days ago. If you're on that bus, please get in touch. And just to let you know, in fact, I've just been handed this by Terry. We've had 2 calls about him in the last few minutes. One of them may have seen him very recently.
Also, a couple of calls coming in on 25-year-old Samantha Wright already. She's been missing since January this year. She didn't contact her family over Christmas or for her birthday on January the 5th. They need to know what happened to her.
It's been 10 months since Elena Shagrova went missing from her home in Highgate in North London. Her boyfriend was in the studio today. He just wants her home safe and well.
Yeah. Quite a lot of calls coming in on her, actually. 9, in fact, with potential sightings both here and international. So very, very encouraging there. And safe and well is 50-year-old Nigel Davis, who's been missing from Shropshire for nearly a month this morning.
So lots of good calls this morning. Missing people are waiting to hear from you. They are here all weekend, 24 hours a day. The number is on the screen for you right now. That's pretty much all we have time for today, but please keep those calls coming in. And on Monday, we're going to bring you updates on all our appeals, plus as well, David Holland. He disappeared from Dover 6 months ago. He just didn't turn up for work one day. His wages are still waiting for him.
And the incredible story of Shahira Oza. She'd lost her memory and only found out her family after recognising herself on this programme. Her daughter's here to tell us all about it.
That is an absolutely fantastic story. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back at the same time here on Monday. Thank you for your help. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.